Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We do apologize about that. Inshallah, we have been having some technical difficulties. Alhamdulillah, we are back on stream. Inshallah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alamin, wa la quwwata illa billah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala man kana nabiyyan wal alim wa ala Alhamdulillah. We'd like to welcome you all to our program. Let's Talk Islam. You know, on this program we talk about Deen and Deen alone, inshallah. And it's always important to listen to the talks of Deen, you know, to listen to the talks of Deen, to seek knowledge of Deen, because this is what will benefit us, inshallah. And that is why the Rasul in one hadith would say, Talabul ilm min al-mahad ila al-lahad. He would say, seek knowledge from the cradle to the grave. So alhamdulillah, tonight's live interview, our main objective is number one, is to increase our iman. Number two is also to revive the love for Quran. Again, to revive the love of Quran. And also, this inshallah would be a means to inspire us to memorize Quran, to learn Quran, and also it will be a means to inspire us and our children to send them to study the Deen of Allah and the Book of Allah, inshallah. Tonight, inshallah, we have with us in our program, you know, someone very special, someone very known, and that is Hafiz Kaleem Rahaman. Alhamdulillah, as you all know, Hafiz Kaleem, he is the principal of Al-Ikram Foundation, and he has been, you know, making effort in this southern part of the country. You would say that the Parkour, Princess Town, the area, inshallah. You know, Alhamdulillah, Hafiz, he was born right here in Trinidad, to be specific. He was born in Rusila, and Alhamdulillah, his father saw it fit. You know, somehow his father got inspired with the love of Quran, and he saw it fit to send his sons to study the Deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Alhamdulillah, in fact, he completed his studies in Darul Uloom, Newcastle, which is in South Africa. So I would like to welcome Hafiz on our show tonight, inshallah. Hafiz.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, Maulana.
Hafiz, you know, welcome to our program, Let's Talk Islam. We'll be discussing, you know, I have some questions for you, inshallah, about your studies, about your completion. But before, inshallah, just tell us something about yourself.
Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, wa kafa, wa salatu wa salamu ala ibadihi alladhina istafa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah to everyone. Jazakallah for having me on this program. Well, alhamdulillah, I am the principal of Al-Ikram Foundation Institute, mashallah. I have been the principal for the past 5 years, mashallah. A lot of people don't think I'm a local Trini, but yes, I am a local Trini. I am born and grew here, mashallah. I actually from the Princess Town, Barako area, and then my father moved to the Daw Orapush area, where he continued to reside. Now, alhamdulillah, I live at the Devi area, mashallah. And I'm currently, you know, affiliated with the Al-Ikram Foundation. You know, also I'm affiliated with the AP Jamaat as well, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah. Jazakallah, Hafiz. So, inshallah, I just have a few questions for you tonight, inshallah. Nothing too much, inshallah. Inshallah. So, Hafiz, tell us about your studies. Tell us about your studies in South Africa.
Well, mashallah, alhamdulillah, I started my studies here in Trinidad.
Okay.
Mashallah, I studied a couple of years here, and then alhamdulillah, I got an opportunity to go to South Africa in Darul Newcastle and study, and that was in the year 2006, mashallah. I studied in South Africa for approximately 2 years. Alhamdulillah, I completed my studies there in South Africa, mashallah. I studied in Darul Newcastle. Darul Newcastle is actually the first Darul in South Africa, mashallah, founded by Maulana Qasim Sima alayhi rahmah. When I started studying there, Maulana Sima, alhamdulillah, I had the pleasure in being his company as well. I met him, mashallah. He was the principal at that time. And Maulana Sima, mashallah, he had, a special love, especially for all his students, but, the foreigners and especially us from Trinidad. He had a special love for us, mashallah. There was approximately 7 of us. Myself, Maulana Naeem was there as well as Mufti Riyad, my brother, and a couple other brothers was there with us, alhamdulillah. So I was there, Maulana Sima. Actually, Maulana Sima passed away on the same day that I completed my hifz, mashallah. So that was actually a great day, to remember, mashallah. The sad day, but also was a good day, alhamdulillah. That was in Darul Newcastle, mashallah. Is recognized, throughout the world. A lot of students from all over the world that studied in Darul Newcastle. Sheikh Zahir Mahmood as well, mashallah, is one of them, who studied in Darul Newcastle, mashallah.
MashaAllah, Hafiz, that was honestly to leave Trinidad and go to the other part of the world, it really, really take a strong individual. It really
it was really, really difficult, especially that was my first time traveling, my first time on a plane actually. It was really hard leaving, and my first stop was in England, and at that time was winter time, and England was really cold. But alhamdulillah, I traveled with Maulana Naeem, and he took really good care of me, mashallah, while traveling. So I had no problem, mashallah.
MashaAllah. So, Jazakallah, if you could tell us a little about your teacher also.
Oh, mashallah. In Darul Newcastle, mashallah, all the teachers there were very fond of us, mashallah, because of the background that we came from. And they also used to like the way that we speak, as Trinidad, with the accent that we have, a lot of them would have think that we're speaking Chinese, because we would speak so fast, even if it was English, they would speak so fast, but yet still, they used to just look at you guys and say, what you guys are speaking, man. So it was, but alhamdulillah, all the teachers there would love us there, and they would we would display very good akhlaq towards them, and they would admire that. And especially my teacher, his name is Hafiz Yusuf Kala. He is also one of the senior teachers of Darul Newcastle. He is still teaching there at the moment, mashallah. Hafiz Yusuf Kala, he had a lot of love for his students, mashallah. You will see he would get to know his students, and them as well as he would, especially when it's time for winter, when winter time is coming in. Hafiz Kala, he would often buy winter clothes and blankets, and he would distribute it amongst the students. During the month of Ramadan, he would sponsor iftar and invite his students to eat by his house and things like that. And mashallah, Hafiz Kala, his system of hifz, was very easy, and he was a very loving person, mashallah. And I have a huge love for him. Up to now, I often message Hafiz Sab, and ask him, his whereabouts and how is he, mashallah. So Hafiz Kala was really, and another thing about Hafiz Kala, he was very well known, for his voice. He had a beautiful voice. He used to recite Quran really beautiful, and also he used to sing a lot of nats, a lot of qasidas, and he was, people used to would love him, because of the way that, he would portray himself, as well as, his beautiful voice, and people would like to hear him recite and sing and stuff like that, mashallah.
MashaAllah. Hafiz, you said one thing that's very important, that your Ustad Hafiz Kala, right? Hafiz Kala, he had a ta'alluq. You had a ta'alluq with him, and he also had a ta'alluq with students.
Yeah, definitely.
That is something that is a very important point, especially for our students, and even to the graduates also. That ta'alluq with your Ustad, subhanAllah, that is a portion of your studies. Because, nowadays, subhanAllah, because of this COVID-19 and this virus, that is something that right now is lost. You know, sometimes you don't even see a ustad or teacher face except on Zoom. You know, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And even with that will have a scholar as well. Whenever he would become very upset with me, because for some reason, being boys, he would become upset, and I would always jump on I had a bike while studying, and I used to ride, to his house, which was like about half an hour away from Darulum. And I used to go and I used to wait by his gate. And sometimes when I go by his gate, they will say he's not at home, he's in the musalla. So I have to go to the musalla and I will meet him and I will shake his hand and say, Ustad, forgive me. And he used to love this. He used to really love, coming and asking, for forgiveness, for whatever wrong we have done. So that's one of the things that he would love, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, that is a very good quality, to me always make maaf for your Ustad. Many students they don't have the guts to do that. Alhamdulillah, that's you to do that. Alhamdulillah. And those are good qualities that I could say that make you who you are today. Alhamdulillah. Tell us a bit about the Muslims in South Africa, different cultures, how it was.
Well, mashallah, in South Africa, they have a huge Muslim population, mashallah. So wherever you go, mashallah, you see a lot of Muslims. And I mean, throughout the entire world, we find that Islam is growing really fast. And in South Africa, mashallah, they have a lot of Muslims. And even where we were studying in Darulum, Newcastle, they have a lot of Muslims there, mashallah. And Darulum, Newcastle would stand out for them. Whenever they would see a Darulum student, they would be happy. They would embrace you. They would meet you. And especially when they meet foreigners, and whenever you go to them and tell them, you ask them where you're from, you say, well, I am from Trinidad. By the time you tell them you want Trinidad, they don't really know where Trinidad is. So you have to tell them, well, West Indies, Caribbean, or close to Venezuela, or something like that. They have to tell them, and they would be so happy seeing that they're a student coming from so far to study Islam and to become Hafiz and ulama. So the Muslim population there, mashallah, is quite big. They also have, their Jamiatul Ulama for the different province. They will have their Jamiatul Ulama, and there's a lot of cooperation, mashallah, among the Muslims as well. So alhamdulillah, and we see that in Trinidad as well too, as in Trinidad where Islam is growing, really fast. And alhamdulillah, we have a lot of Darul Uloom in Trinidad.
Yes.
Mashallah. But as one advice, to the public, that even the advice of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam was to love, people of knowledge, to love them and to cherish them, inshallah.
Yeah, Hafiz, Jazakallahu khairan for those information. Alhamdulillah, you said really one thing that I think is really true. It is a sacrifice. To become a Hafiz al-Quran, it is a sacrifice. I think it is from both angles, from you as a student and also for the parents, inshallah, because the parents remaining back in Trinidad, your parents, your mom, your dad, I'm sure they make real I'm sure they maybe have sleepless night, they cry because what they just want you to achieve, that a title of become a Hafiz al-Quran. Alhamdulillah. So Hafiz, what were some of the challenges you faced as a foreign student in South Africa?
Well, alhamdulillah, well, like all other students, mashallah, when going out or leaving your homes for studying, you miss home a lot, mashallah, but it didn't really hurt me that much because I was already, accustomed, being, I went to Jamia as well. So at that time, Jamia, we would have to stay away from home for 2 months, so that was a bit of a training for me. So when I went to South Africa, it was a bit easy, I didn't really miss home that much, but yes, there was a lot of challenges, mashallah, a lot of challenges. Number one is that cost of living in South Africa is really high, so when you have spending money, whoever spending money, you have sometimes it doesn't even last, that long. But alhamdulillah, my father and my mother, they made a lot of sacrifice, because it wasn't just me alone, was my brother was with me as well, so it was really hard on them. I can remember my mom, she used to call me, and she used to be crying, for her son. But she would understand, the sacrifice that she's making, and she really wanted this, for her sons, to become Hafiz and Alim, of Deen, because they understood, what is the outcome of it, mashallah, the great cause that lies behind it. Also, if you look at other challenges like the food, I remember myself and Maulana, we will always joke about the food. When we used to have to eat in South Africa, there's a type of dal that they used to cook, right? And they used to serve it with bread. But as soon as they eat that, your acid starts acting up, So it was really difficult on us, but we had no choice. We had to eat it, and alhamdulillah, through that sacrifice, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted us, mashallah. Also, the weather, South Africa, they have their 4 seasons there. So the winter wasn't that drastic, but the humidity level was very low. So your skin used to become very dry and itchy, and at night used to become very cold, and in the castle at that time, now, alhamdulillah, it's changed now. In the dome, the electricity lines that was, or the electricity connection, in the dome was very old. So the breakers used to trip a lot. So you never used to get hot water. They never used to allow students with any type of heavy equipment like a heater, like to have a heater in your room to heat up the place. We never had that, So, but alhamdulillah, with the brothers in the room, we supported one another, and alhamdulillah, we were able to survive it, mashallah.
MashaAllah, Hafiz. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah, there is really some experience being a student in that foreign country. So inshallah, jazakallah so much, inshallah. I want to, yes, mashallah, you finish. Alhamdulillah. And inshallah, another question I have for you. I know, inshallah, is a big jump, but basically our program, inshallah, is, in my life or your life after becoming a Hafidul Quran. So Hafiz, tell us about a bit, I know for a while, mashallah, one number of years you have been the principal of Al Ikram Foundation. Tell us about this institute. Tell us a bit about foundation.
Well, alhamdulillah, Al Ikram Foundation is existing till now, since 2014, mashallah. The primary motive of Al Ikram, if you look at the name Ikram, it means, to assist someone, or to have that, to render some type of help, mashallah. So from inception, Al Ikram has been involved in a lot of community help. We do a lot of charitable work, mashallah, and we still do, mashallah, especially during this time of COVID, where we distribute a lot of hampers, a lot of food stuff is given out, to the less fortunate, mashallah. Also with that, mashallah, Al Ikram, we have our institute, we have a preschool, a functional preschool, mashallah, as well as a primary school, and we have a Hifz program that is running. I believe last week, Hafiz Kaleem would have spoken about the Hifz program at Al Ikram, and everything is been. We are seeing, that everything is progressing, alhamdulillah, where the school is growing, mashallah. We're seeing where students are flocking towards the institute, to benefit from Al Ikram Foundation, mashallah. Also, we have, since the start of COVID, we started our online programs as well. So we have a 2-year diploma in Islamic studies, as well as we have we started a professional certificate in Quran recitation, which is done online, alhamdulillah. And we have also started our online maktab, for our kids, mashallah. And Al Ikram, we continue to progress, mashallah. We continue to we don't want to remain just as just doing something and just continue doing it, but we also want to increase. So we're looking at also increasing and going further into starting our secondary school. We're hoping, inshallah, by next year we should start our secondary school, starting with Form 1, inshallah. Also, with Al Ikram Foundation, we have integrated, our Islamic studies, within the academics as well. So students, they are trained, even though they are excellent in their academics, they are also well trained, to live as Muslims and to live as Muslims outside, mashallah. Also with that as well, we do a lot of events, public events, and these events, are for families, to attend. So we have our Tobago event, our Tobago treasure hunt, mashallah, where over 100 persons have participated in our Tobago event, mashallah. Also, we have a trip that we take down the islands. We go to different islands, inshallah. And coming up, inshallah, we want to do something which is a Trinidad treasure hunt. So looking at the protocols that is put in place by the government, inshallah, we will plan that to suit, inshallah. And we have many other programs that to start, inshallah. So more of the programs we do now online. We start some virtual programs. We have readings from Riyadh Salihin, which is on a daily basis. We also have for every Friday we do short video clips on Friday reminders, which is general reminders, not necessarily on Friday, but general reminders. But it's posted on Friday. We also start we also started our counseling program as well, where people in the community, they're in need of counseling, mashallah. We have a counseling department. And also we have, even on social media, we have circulating daily hadith, weekly hadith. So there's a lot that we are doing, mashallah. And there's a lot that we will continue to do, inshallah. And soon to come, inshallah, we are going to be starting our Darul Iftar, inshallah. We will get some more information on that, as we go along, as we progress, inshallah, we will get more. So we will be increasing, and serving the community as much as possible, mashallah. So I hope I did justice, because Al-Ikram is doing so much. Al-Ikram is doing so much, but there's so much to put in, to say it, in just a couple of seconds.
True.
Mashallah. So before sorry to cut you, Maulana, but if anybody wants to know more about Al-Ikram, they can check us out on Facebook. All our flyers and pictures, they have been posted on our Facebook page. Also, they can contact our office at 231-9236. Also, they can email us, inshallah, and they can email us on info@alikramfoundation.org, and they can also check out our website as well, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah for good information, Hafiz. Alhamdulillah. No, let's say a parent is trying to make a decision where to send their child. What, in your opinion, makes Al-Ikram the ideal institute?
Well, mashallah, Al-Ikram, I have been working for Al-Ikram, really long, so alhamdulillah, we have a preschool and a primary school, so one of the advantages, number one, is that we are an Islamic institute. Mashallah, we have an Islamic environment. It's a safe Islamic environment. Mashallah, we have upgraded our facilities as well. Mashallah. Two, from a child that is in preschool, they automatically be promoted into our primary school. So after completing our preschool, then a parent don't need to go looking out for a primary school or waiting for a primary school to accept them. We automatically accept our preschool students into our primary school system, mashallah. Also, our teachers, they are very well experienced. They are besides being qualified, they are very well experienced. We have a loving environment. I would just like to put it that way, where students, they really, really care for their children. They look after them. Even Al-Ikram Foundation was the first institute that started virtual classes. I don't know if anyone knew that, but as soon as school was locked down, immediately the other week Al-Ikram started online classes. So we were one of the first institutes to start online learning, mashallah. Also, within our system, we have we have designed, our Quran system where a child can learn to recite Quran step by step, and they can be proficient from after completing our system. They will be proficient enough. They will be proficient in recitation of Quran, and they can directly start hifz immediately after completing their primary school. Also within our secondary, we are integrating hifz as one of our subjects. So while a child will be studying they'll be excelling in their academics or be doing their subjects in their secondary school, they will also be learning to become Hafiz of Quran, inshallah, as long as the parents choose for them to do that, inshallah.
Inshallah. Jazakallah for all of the information. Alhamdulillah. Al-Ikram, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to bless the efforts of Al-Ikram, inshallah. On a daily basis, we see daily posts, we could say Riyadh al-Salihin, all over Facebook, WhatsApp, mashallah, alhamdulillah. So Hafiz, where do you see Al-Ikram in the future?
Well, mashallah, as I said before, I was in Al-Ikram since inception, and I have seen Al-Ikram grow from where it was to where it is now. And I see Al-Ikram, being one of the leading Islamic institutes within the Caribbean. I see the potential of Al-Ikram. I have seen our students that have graduated from Al-Ikram. I have even got reviews from different principals that students that have graduated from Al-Ikram, they excelled way beyond other students, mashallah. So I see Al-Ikram in the future as one of the top ranking Islamic institute within the Caribbean, inshallah. And we are aiming for that, inshallah. And even with all our programs that we do, we want to continuously do that. So we see Al-Ikram as an avenue for propagating Islam and introducing Islam towards people, who have never heard of Al-Ikram, who have never heard of Islam. And also with Al-Ikram, we assist people as much as we could, inshallah. Example, when a couple villages was hit by a huge flood, mashallah, we were there assisting and organizing, hampers, to give to these people, mashallah. So I see the future of Al-Ikram very bright, inshallah. And also our staff, our admin members, mashallah, they are very hardworking. They are willing to go that extra mile to ensure that Al-Ikram, functions as the way that we want it to be, the vision that we have. We see that the staff as well as the admin members, they push as far as they could, and just before I close this point here, we have already started, different work we started a maktab in St. Martin. We have visited St. Martin a few times, and we have a good program going on there, mashallah. And I mean, right now they are insisting for us to come back, inshallah. Also in Guyana, we visited Guyana a few times, mashallah. And we saw that Al-Ikram, we want to expand as far as that, inshallah. So we see some bright futures for Al-Ikram, inshallah.
Mashallah. Well, my next question I was going to ask you was, how is Al-Ikram received by the Jamaats and the members of the community? But I don't think I should ask you that question again because of what you have said. Al-Ikram is not received by the Jamaats alone. Your statement concerning St. Martin and of course Guyana, I could imagine what's happening right here in Trinidad. I don't know if you want to tell us anything.
Yes, well, mashallah, alhamdulillah, we have done a lot of events within Jamaats, mashallah. I speak of Barako Islamic community, mashallah. We have done. I am personally connected with them as well as a lot of brothers. And recently we had a corridor competition within that Jamaat, and it was really, successful, mashallah. As well as we visit a lot of Jamaat, and we assist them in whatever way we can with khatibs, even with Taraweeh Salat. So Al-Ikram Foundation is recognized by a lot of Jamaats, within the community. We go as far as Mayaro, Mafikin Masjid, where we had a Ramadan program. I think it was 2 or 3 years back. Also, we had programs in Sidras Masjid. Also, we did a few khutbah as well as Taraweeh Salat we did in Hira Forest Masjid. Also, our online maktab, has been attended by students nationwide. Students from Beach, we have students from Sidras, students from North, South, Central, mashallah. So I could say Al-Ikram and the reviews that we get from these Jamaat, mashallah, alhamdulillah, Al-Ikram is really recognized by them, mashallah.
Alhamdulillah, Hafiz, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for your efforts. Alhamdulillah, I guess that is becoming a Hafiz. That is the life of a Hafiz, becoming a Hafiz. Allah actually open your mind. With the barakah of Quran, Allah open your mind so you could do so much of the Alhamdulillah. Because, based on your experience, when finish your studies in South Africa, returning back to Trinidad, doing so much of the Alhamdulillah. Because I want to ask, what is your advice, right? What is your advice to students who have completed or now completed HIP?
Well, mashallah, the reason for going out to study was first for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So after completing our studies or after completing your studies and becoming a Hafiz of Quran, it shouldn't stop there. We should continue, as the hadith of the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, خَيْرُكُمْ مَنْ تَعَلَّمَ الْقُرْآنَ وَعَلَّمَ. And the best amongst you is the one who learns the Quran and teaches it. So we shouldn't just learn the Quran and leave it there, but in some way, whether it be one person or two person or however, try to teach someone and pass on your knowledge as well. Don't let that ta'lim and ta'alum just stop like that. The teaching and learning of Quran shouldn't stop. But and as well, my ustad, Hafiz Kaleem, he would always used to advise us. He said that one thing is becoming a Hafiz of Quran or alim of deen or a Maulana. That's just one part of it. The major part of it is being accepted by Allah for the khidmat of deen. Whenever my ustad would tell me this, I would often make dua and ask Allah to accept me for the khidmat of deen. And alhamdulillah, ever since I came back, I came back from South Africa, I have always been teaching and learning, mashallah, and I continue to do this. And it was also, my mother's wish, my mother's dua. She will always want that at least one of her child should be in deen, mashallah. So my advice is to continue the effort of deen, inshallah. Don't just let it stop by studying, but continue after that, inshallah. And also, always ask your ustad, or even though you have completed, always ask your teachers to make dua for you. Always ask your teachers to make dua for you and do their khidmat at all times, inshallah. And inshallah, by doing this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept us, for khidmat of deen, inshallah.
Hafiz, one thing you said, which is really truth and really important, is that of du'as. As students, one thing, du'as is something that you should always be making all of the time, 24/7. And another thing you mentioned, which I share the same sentiments with you, is that of khidmat. I think khidmat with student and teacher is one of the most important thing in a student life. That is why I think that khidmat is 50% of your studies, right? Khidmat is 50% of your studies, and that is doing khidmat for yourself, your classmates, your ustad especially. That is what will help, you could say, in grooming a student to become successful, inshallah. Hafiz, I just have one more question for you, inshallah. In fact, two more questions. Can you give us some tips in memorizing Quran for us as adults?
For adults?
Yes. Like just example, we home Alhamdulillah, we have spent the entire year. Just like, for example, another 2-3 days from now, this year, this Islamic year is coming to an end. You know, another 2 days we'll be entering in another year. You know, and you know, mashallah, sometimes our deen tend to be stagnant. You know, anything that is stagnant, sometimes it drops. You know, so if for Quran, just say I don't want to memorize Quran, not the whole Quran, but maybe a portion, a para, or a few additional surah to what you already knew. You know, what are some tips in memorizing?
Well, especially for adults at home, mashallah, who mashallah is busy on the go, mashallah. One thing I always find that always catches a person's memories is by listening. By listening to someone recite, always reciting over and over. You hear someone reciting, it always sticks to your memory. You know, so this is a good method, inshallah. Also, during this time of lockdown, inshallah, we should try to take advantage. You know, especially if you look at Trinidad. Trinidad, there's many Hufaz, a lot of people here can recite Quran. So take the advantage on learning to recite Quran step by step, mashallah. If you look at our program, which is the professional certificate in learning to read Quran, is a step-by-step program that assists and helps a person to learn to recite Quran and assist them, you know, that whenever they are reading, whatever they are reading, they're able to read it properly, inshallah. You know, so these types of program, take advantage of it. So when you become proficient or you become an expert in reciting Quran, memorize it becomes very easy, inshallah. You know, so for adults, mashallah, this is some of the best ways, inshallah. My continuously listening to something over and over and continuously reciting it. Also, learning to read Quran properly, inshallah. By us learning to read it properly, we will be able to memorize it on our own, inshallah.
Jazakallah so much, Hafiz. And the last question, inshallah. Yesterday I spoke to someone, and I always have this experience of adults. There are many adults who want to learn to read Quran. There are many adults who don't know to read Quran. Every time they try, they pick up the qaida, they reach to the first 2 pages, they stop. Another year of their life, they'll pick it up, they will stop. You know, what are some advice in, you could say, an easy manner to finish that qaida? So how long does it take? And, you know, some advice in finishing it and completing and going into Quran.
On completing qaida?
Yes.
Well, mashallah, I have ever since I studied qaida under Maulana Ibrahim. He was the one of the senior teachers in Jamia when I now started, and his system is very easy for anyone. And the best way is learning to spell Arabic and read it. In this way now, a person who learns to spell to read Arabic, he can flip in any part of the Quran and see a word, and he will be able to spell that word and read it. You know, so when learning Quran, there are times, you know, we always hear this from our imams, our the Maulanas that is around us, that shaitan comes to us and try to, you know, put something in front of us that might look more important than learning to read Quran. You know, so we shouldn't let anything, you know, deviate us from learning Quran. We should try to push that aside. At times it may be difficult, but we need to know that this is priority. This is priority because we are learning to read the Book of Allah. And when a person learns to read Quran, he shouldn't just make the intention of learning to read Quran, but his goal should be to become a Hafiz of Quran, not just stop at learning to read Quran, but also go as far as memorizing the Quran, inshallah. In this way, inshallah, I always advise my students to do this. So a person who makes that intention and a person who sits to learn to memorize or he sits to memorize Quran and he dies in this process, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know, helps appoints an angel, you know, to complete this, helps with him in his qabr. You know, so should always make that intention, to not just learn to read Quran, but also try to complete the memorization of Quran too, inshallah. And try to memorize as much as we could too, inshallah.
Well, Jazakallah Hafiz, this has brought us the end of our program, inshallah. Again, Jazakallah for joining. Jazakallah for all of your advice. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you on the efforts that you are making and accept them, inshallah. Inshallah. So we also like, for our viewers, inshallah, to join us for this entire month of August. Right here at Let's Talk Islam, our Facebook page, inshallah. For this entire month of August, we'll be having a live interview or a webinar every Saturday at 7 p.m. Remember to join. Remember to also share, inshallah, when you join, inshallah. Next week, there will be some interesting topics for you all, inshallah. So, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanakallah. Subhana rabbika